Mysteries of Mont Saint-Michel. Part 1. Have you ever heard of a city that literally disappears twice a day? Welcome to Mont Saint-Michel, one of the most mysterious and magical places in Europe. Located off the coast of Normandy, in France, this medieval town sits on top of a rocky island. But here's the strange part, Mont Saint-Michel is connected to the mainland. Only sometimes. Why? Because of the tides. The ocean surrounding this island rises and falls dramatically. When the tide is low, you can walk across the sand to reach the island. But when the tide comes in, the sea rushes back, fast. So fast, in fact, that old legend said it moved at the speed of a galloping horse. In just a few hours, Mont Saint-Michel becomes completely surrounded by water. It's a natural phenomenon that has fascinated scientists, tourists, and even kings for centuries. But the tides aren't the only mystery here. Because Mont Saint-Michel is also filled with ancient secrets, stories of miracles, ghosts, and even dark rituals. And in the middle of it all, rising high above the island, there's an enormous abbey, built more than 1,000 years ago. Who built it? Why here? And what makes this island so different? In the next part, we dive into the origins of Mont Saint-Michel and the mysterious vision that started it all. Angel's Vision, Island's Mystery. 2. The story of Mont Saint-Michel begins in the year 708. With a vision. According to legend, a local bishop named Abbey was visited in a dream by the archangel Michael. The angel told him, build a sanctuary on the rocky island by the sea. Abbey ignored the vision at first. He thought it was just a dream. But the angel came again and again. On the third visit, Archangel Michael pressed his finger into Abbey's skull, leaving a hole in the bone. That skull still exists today. And yes, you can see the hole. Terrified and inspired, Abbey began construction on the island. And soon, a small chapel stood on top of the rock. Over the centuries, the chapel grew into a giant Gothic abbey, with towering spires and hidden chambers. It became a place of pilgrimage, where thousands came seeking miracles. Some believed the island had holy powers. Others came to escape evil spirits. But there was one problem, getting there was dangerous. The tides could trap you. The fog could blind you. And the quicksand around the island has swallowed people alive. Yes, real quicksand. Still there today. Only those who knew the safe path across the sand could reach Mont Saint-Michel safely. It was as if the island chose who could enter. And for centuries, this isolation kept the island a mystery. A sacred place beyond the reach of most. But what happened during the wars? And why did Mont Saint-Michel become known as the city that could not fall? We'll explore that in part 3. Unraveling Mont Saint-Michel's secrets. 3. As centuries passed, Mont Saint-Michel became more than a holy site. It became a fortress. During the 100 Years' War, between France and England, this little island became a symbol of resistance. The English invaded northern France. One by one, cities and castles fell. But not Mont Saint-Michel. The rocky island was nearly impossible to conquer. Steep cliffs, powerful tides, and tall stone walls made it a nightmare for any army. The English tried to capture it again and again. But each time, they failed. At one point, they even built 2 fortresses on the mainland, just to block supplies. But brave locals risked their lives crossing the sand at night, bringing food and water. Mont Saint-Michel survived. And soon, it became known as the city that could not fall. Even centuries later, during the French Revolution, the Abbey was shut down and turned into a prison. Its thick walls and isolation made it perfect for holding dangerous prisoners. But strange things began to happen. Inmates whispered of ghosts, voices in the halls, doors slamming shut by themselves. One prisoner carved a warning on the wall, "The angel watches." Was it just fear? Or something more? Eventually, the prison closed. And Mont Saint-Michel fell into silence. But it wouldn't stay forgotten forever. In the 19th century, artists and historians rediscovered the island. It became a symbol of French identity, and one of the most breathtaking sights in Europe. Today, Mont Saint-Michel is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, visited by over 3 million people a year. But many still say, the island feels different. As if it remembers its past. As if something still watches from the shadows of the Abbey. And some visitors claim they've seen a figure in white at the top of the tower. Is it a ghost? An angel? Or simply a trick of the light? No one knows for sure. But one thing is certain. Mont Saint-Michel is a place where history and mystery walk side by side. Mystical Mont Saint-Michel. 5. Today, Mont Saint-Michel is one of the most visited places in France. Millions of tourists come every year to see its towers, its tides, and its breathtaking beauty. But what makes this place truly unique is not just the architecture or the view. It's the feeling it gives you. That sense that time has stopped, Or maybe never really mattered here. When you step through the old gates, you're not just entering a tourist site. You're entering a living legend. The main street is lined with shops and cafes, but just behind them are steep staircases, quiet alleys, and secret corners. Climb higher, and you'll reach the Abbey, the crown of Mont Saint-Michel. Its halls echo with the footsteps of pilgrims and monks from centuries ago. The Gothic architecture rises high above the sea, as if trying to touch the sky. From the top, you can see miles of flat sand, tiny rivers carving paths through the mud, and the line where the sea begins. It's a view that hasn't changed in hundreds of years. And it makes you wonder, how many others stood here before you, watching the same scene? Asking the same questions? Today, a small group of monks and nuns still live and pray in the Abbey. They follow ancient rhythms, chanting in Latin, lighting candles at dawn, walking in silence under the stars. They remind us that Mont Saint-Michel was always a place of faith, not just belief in God, but belief in something greater. Something beyond the world we see. Legends say that Mont Saint-Michel is a doorway between worlds, between land and sea, between past and present, between the sacred and the mysterious. And when the fog rolls in from the ocean, covering the sands and hiding the path, you might just feel it for yourself. A whisper in the wind. A chill in the air. A sense that you are not alone. That this place is watching you. Remembering you. Just as you will remember it. Because Mont Saint-Michel is more than a place. It's a story. A question. A mystery that never ends. And whether you visit it in person or only in your imagination, it leaves a mark. Deep, quiet, and unforgettable.